We should all know by now that Battlefield 1 is going to be released this year. With every new game comes some new things, some new game modes, new maps, new weapons, new gameplay, everything. But Battlefield 1 has changed their classic game mode of Conquest quite a bit. So the first thing is that tickets have become points and now count up instead of down. The first team to reach the set number of points wins the game. So the set number of points could be 500 points, 700 points, 600 points, 1500 points. It all depends on what the admin sets. But in order to gain a point, you must have a flag. It doesn't matter how many flags you have, you will get 1 point regardless. The more flags you have though, the quicker that 1 point is given to your team. So if you have 5 flags, you may get a point once every 8 seconds rather than having 4 and getting 1 point every 16. Another thing is that there's no more ticket bleeding, which is one of the major aspects of Conquest. Just because it's new doesn't automatically make it bad. It does have some pros going for it. The new game mode actually encourages capturing flags instead of going and Ramboing in a attack helicopter for an hour and a half. Not doing well on the battlefield, not getting kills, dying a lot, not killing high value targets, it's not going to affect your team nearly as much as it would in Battlefield 4. Another thing is that if there's somebody on the enemy team who's absolutely dominating your team and he's got 50 kills and has only died once and it's 5 minutes into the game, he will have less of an effect on the outcome of the game rather than like in Battlefield 4. One of the best pros that it has, though, is the fact that it has made the game mode a lot more friendly to new players. The new game mode is much less confusing than the old game mode. Making it friendlier and easier to learn to newer players is definitely going to help out this year because a lot more players are going to be joining Battlefield 1 because a lot of the COD community doesn't want to get and doesn't want to play the new Infinite Warfare. They wanted to go back to a World War I game. Now, just because there are some great pros doesn't mean that there's not going to be some bad cons. One of those cons, and the worst one of those cons, is that it takes away the incentive to do extremely well. Because kills do not matter in this new game mode. Dominating in an attack helicopter, dominating in a tank, dominating in a plane, it's not going to matter to your team. You're better off just trying to cap objectives or defending objectives with the plane or taking out high value targets with the plane or helicopter or behemoth. Getting killed isn't going to hurt your team. I know it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. When you're constantly dying on Battlefield 4, you're going to have a really negative effect on your team. But in Battlefield 1, you can die all you want and your team's not going to suffer. The last thing is that the behemoths aren't going to do nearly as much as I thought that they were going to do. I thought that the ticket system would be the same in this Battlefield as it was in 2, 3, and 4, but since it's not, the behemoths aren't going to have a gigantic impact on the game. Let's take the Zeppelin for example. If there are 6 people total in that Zeppelin, that's 6 people not capping flags. But at the same time, the behemoth still kind of counters that because you can clear an objective for your team. Those are just some of the pros and cons that I thought of, and if you can think of any more, leave them in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.